All right, factoring. So these take a while sometimes, so we're going to go through a lot of examples. Let's start with this first one. So we're looking at 36x squared minus 64. And you can tell by looking at the examples that factoring is putting into factors. Those binomials in parentheses with two terms, those are called a factor. So we want it to get this in factored form, and if we were to multiply like we did in the last section, we would be back here. Okay, so we're going backwards. In the last section we multiplied, now we're going back to the other form. So first thing, I want to take out what both of these have in common. And you're lucky you have multiple choice, you can see. What did they take out every time? A 4. Okay, so we're going to take out a 4, and when we rewrite that, we write the 4 in front, and then 36 divided by 4 is 9. We still have x squared, and then 64 divided by 4 is 16. So remember I said we're going backwards. If I were to multiply that 4 back through, would be back up here, right? We're just rewriting it a different way. That's what factoring is. So when we have an x squared without an x, there's just two terms. There's an x squared, and then plus or minus some number. We use this factoring form called difference of squares. So what we do is we can take the square root of the number and then the square root of the other number. So square root of 9 is equal to 3. Square root of 16 is equal to 4. And our factors become 3x and 4 and 3x and 4. And the only thing that's different is one is plus, one is minus. So if we were to multiply these out, we'd come back to 9x squared minus 16. Okay, and I'm not going to do that, but you can, because 3x times 3x is 9x squared. And then these two subtract, or add to 0, and then 4 minus times negative 4 is negative 16. Alright, so our answer is 4, 3x plus 4, 3x minus 4. That's factored form. So this one's different. This one has an y, an x, an xy. So our first step is to write in descending order. So that means we start with the x. Nope, not 20, negative 24x. And then we go xy. Then y. Then negative 4. Do you see I just rearranged those? And then we're going to do this thing called factor by grouping. So we're going to see if we can take out anything in common here. So let's see. These both have an x. And they both have a 24. So if I take out negative 24x, I'm left with 1 plus y. And then here I can take out a 4. And I'm left with y minus 1. Alright, so the problem here is these need to be the same when we have the distributive property. So that actually doesn't work. So I'm going to erase that, and we're going to have to try a different way. So I'm actually going to go to our answers here and see we have 4y minus 4 already. So I'm going to try and write the y first. So if I take 4y plus 24xy minus 24x minus 4, and we're going to try this again. I'm going to group and see what I can take out. So here I can take out a 4 and a y. So 4y, and then what's left is 1. 24 divided by 4 is 6, and then we still have an x. Okay, here I can take out a negative 4, and we're left with positive 6 plus 1. Okay, this is right because this is, I can rewrite that as 6x plus 1, and this is 6x plus 1. So factored form will be 6x plus 1, and then the other factor is what we took out. 4y minus 4. So I redid this because I need these two to be the same. On the first time they were not the same, that means that that was not the factor. So this is our factored form. 6x plus 1, 4y minus 4. And again, remember, you can check your answers by multiplying. You could go through all of these and just multiply and see which one you get. That would work too. Okay, so notice here, I'm missing the x. It's just x squared and a number. So I'm going to do difference of squares, but I have to take out what they have in common first. Do you see what it is? It's a 5. Right, so if I divide both of these by 5, I'm going to have a 5 out, and I'm left with 9x squared, 45 divided by 5. Then 320 divided by 5 is negative 64. So now I do my difference of squares. I take the square root of 9 and the square root of 64. So 3, I wrote the answer, it's 8. So my factors are 3x and 8. And 3x and 8, the only difference is one is plus and one is minus. Okay, so my answer here would be this one. Here's another difference of squares, because I'm missing the x. That's how I know it's a difference of squares. It's just x squared and a number. So I'm going to take out the 2. And I'm left with 49x squared minus 64. So then you would take the square root. So the square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 64 is 8. So 2, 7x plus 8, 7x minus 8. There you go. Those go pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Alright, so this one is brand new. We haven't done one like this before. And it's not difference of squares because it's x squared x and then a number. So I have 12x squared minus 37x minus 30. So first thing, whenever you factor, see if these are all divisible by something. They're not on this one because 37's prime. So we're going to have to factor for real, and this is what factored form looks like. So remember, if we were to multiply these out, we would get our answer. So I'm going to go slow and write out the steps. Your first step is to multiply a times c. What's a and c? Why did I say that? Remember our standard form of a quadratic equation. A is the number by x squared, b is the number by x, and c is the number by itself. So I want two numbers that multiply to a times c, so 12 times negative 30, negative 360, and add to negative 37. So I write it like this sometimes. Two numbers that multiply to negative 360 and add to negative 37. And at this point, it helps to just start dividing. So 360 divided by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 45 times 8 is 360. 45 minus 8 is 37. We need 37, but we need it the other way. We need 8 minus 45. We need negative 37. So 8, positive 8 times negative 45 is negative 360. 8 minus 45 is negative 37. We found our numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this part with our new numbers. Instead of negative 37, I'm going to write positive 8x minus 45x. And then the 12x squared stays, and the negative 30 stays. Okay, so all I did was I rewrote the middle. And then we're going to do factor by grouping, like what we did on our first question. So I group the first two and group the second two, and we look for common factors. So 12 and 8 both divide by 4. X squared and x, well, there's both have an x. So if I take out a 4x, I'm left with 3x. See how if I multiply those together, I'm back up to 12x squared. We're just taking it apart. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then we took out the x. Okay, what did these have in common? Negative 45 and negative 30. They both divide by negative 5. We're going to include the negative. Yeah. Is that right? Is there a bigger number that those both divide by? 45 divided by 5 is 9x. Nope, there's a bigger number. What is it? So it's not 5, it's 15. Sorry guys, so I'm going to take out a 15. Sorry, it wasn't 5, it was 15. So I'm going to take out a 15, and then I'm left with 3x plus 2. So I knew once I did 5 that was wrong, because you know you're doing it right when these two are the same. Those have to be the same when you factor. And then that's just one of your factors. So our answer is 3x plus 2. And then what did we take out? 4x minus 15. That's our factored form. So those have to be the same. That's how I knew I was doing something wrong. Okay, let's do another one. So factor completely. And we're going to go through this again. So this is x squared minus 11x minus 60, right? We have to do what we just did because there's an x squared and an x. So we take the first number and the last number and we times them. So negative 60 times 1. So we want two numbers that multiply to negative 60 and add to negative 11. Can you think of them? If you're not sure, just start dividing. See how 15 minus 4 is 11? So 15 times 4 is 60, but we need them to add to a negative. So it's going to be negative 15 plus 4. Multiply, add. Okay, so let's rewrite the middle. Instead of negative 11, we're going to use these. Negative 15x plus 4x. And then we still have x squared and we still have negative 60. Okay, so all I did was I rewrote the middle. Now we're going to group. Group the first two, group the second two. What do they have in common? So on our first one, the only thing they have in common is x. So if we take out an x, we have x minus 15. Our second two, these both divide by 4. So I'm going to take out a positive 4. And then I'm left with x minus 15. Yay, we did it right because these are the same. So x minus 15 is a factor, and the other factor is what we took out. Hey, it's right there. So that one didn't take as long, so our numbers were smaller. Here's another one, okay? I'm just going to keep doing some more examples of these. I have x squared and x, so that means I have to multiply the first and the last. So 6 times negative 30 is negative 180. So I want two numbers that multiply to negative 180 and add to the middle, negative 41. So let's just start dividing. 180 divided by 2, divided by 3. I'm looking for a 41. Haha, there we are, 45 minus 4. So 45 times 4 is 180, but it has to be negative. So negative 45 plus 4. Okay, so if I have my original, all I'm changing is the negative 41. I'm going to rewrite it as negative 45 plus 4. And then these outside numbers stay the same. Now we're going to group. Group the first two, group the second two. What do they have in common? Well, these both have an x, and then 6 and 45 both divide by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 45 divided by 3 is 15. 4 and 30 both divide by 2. So if I take out a positive 2, I'm left with 2x minus 15. Yeah! These are the same. That's what we want. That's one of our factors. And the other factor is what we took out. 3x plus 2. There we go. Just more examples, okay? We're going to do a couple more. 20 times negative 18. It's going to be a big number. Sorry, the announcements went off. So 20 divided or times negative 18 is negative 360 again. Adding to negative 37. Is this the one we already did? 20 minus 37 minus 18. No, it's different. The negative 360 threw me. Okay, so negative 360 and 37. So 360, and I want two numbers that add or subtract to 37. There we go. 45 and 8. So negative 45 plus 8 is negative 37. Negative 45 times 8 is negative 360. So if I have my original, I'm rewriting the middle term using my new numbers. So minus 45x plus 8x, and then the 20x squared, and the minus 18 stay. Okay, group the first two, group the second two. What do they have in common? So these both have an x, and then 20 and 45 both divide by 5. So if I take out a 5x, 20 divided by 5 is 4, then there's an x left. 45 divided by 5 is 9. And here, 18 and 8 both divide by 4, no, 2? Yeah, 2. So if I take out a 2, I'm left with 4x minus 9. We're doing so good. That first one just held us up. So 4x minus 9 is one factor, and the other factor is what we took out. 5x plus 2. Right here. Alright, so this one is like our first one again. So we're going to group them. I'm going to start with, I'll start with 12y this time, and then the middle term is when they're joined. minus 18x minus 12. So we rearrange them. So when I group them, there's one that has a variable in common, right? So these both have a y, and then 12 and 18 both divide by 6. So if I take out 6y, I'm left with 2. 18 divided by 6 is 3, and an x. Here I can take out a negative, they're both negative, 6 again, and I'm left with 3x plus 2. Yeah! Let's see, so these are the same. And then, uh-oh, these are not. 2 plus 3x and 6y minus 6 is not an option. So we're going to have to do it a different way. Again, these ones are kind of trial and error, guys. Or if you really want to just multiply and find out which one's right, you can do that too. I'm going to try and factor again, but this time I'm going to put my x first with the combined term and see what I get. So if I group these, I can take out a negative 18, but that's not here either. There's a couple ways to factor this. I'm just going to go trial and error. Okay, so I'm going to take my first one and multiply it and see what I get. There's 18xy minus 24y plus 9x minus 12. That's not it. Okay, I'm going to take my second one. 6y minus 3, 3x plus 4. 18xy plus 24y minus 9x minus 12. That's not it either. Last one. 3y 18xy plus 12y. This one's it. Minus 18x minus 12. Sorry, that one didn't factor well. Well, I could factor it, but I just kept getting different answers. So this one factors in different ways. So sometimes it's easier just to do guess and check. Okay, so let's do the same thing on this one. Let's do guess and check. And that's a totally okay option. So 60xy plus 42y minus 130x minus 91. Ha! First try. So notice if I rearranged, I would have all the right numbers. And that's it for this section.